Welcome everyone. Thank you, Lisa, for doing that. Welcome to our July 27th regular ANC meeting. Our chair is having some trouble getting in from her remote location. So until she comes in, and maybe for the whole session, I'm going to run the meeting. So I'm calling the meeting to order at 7:04. With apologies because I'm having trouble with my computer hookup as well. So sorry, everyone. And thank you all for coming. Let's see our agenda for the meeting. We'll do commissioner introductions, please. And I'm going to start with the first person I see on my screen, Commissioner Sherman, please.
Good evening, everyone. Bruce Sherman. I represent Single Member District 02, which is the easternmost district in our ANC Commission area. It encompasses St. John College High School, Moray's Barrett Fields, the Knollwood Retirement Community, and a whole bunch of homes. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you. Commissioner Grunewald?
Yes, Carol Grunewald. I'm Commissioner with District 03. The boundaries of my district are Utah Avenue to the northeast, 27th Street to the east, Broad Branch to the south and to the west, McKinley on the north, then it jogs north and east along Nebraska where it rejoins Utah Avenue. Thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Gosselin?
I'm Peter Gosselin. I represent District 6, which is largely the west side of Connecticut back to Friendship Heights between Military and Western Avenue and the Circle, with the peninsula to the east from Military to Legation and back to Nevada. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Gore?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is Lisa Gore, and I'm the commissioner representing ANC 34G01, which serves Hawthorne and portions of Barnaby Woods. And my border is Western Avenue down to Rock Creek Park, followed by Pinehurst Tributary, up to Oregon Avenue and Beach Street, and then going up into Barnaby Woods, 31st Street, Tennyson to 33rd, and back around towards Pinehurst. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you. And I'm Liz Nagy. I'm the commissioner for SMD 07, which is from Military Road south to Chevy Chase Parkway, east over to Nevada, and west over to Reno. And thank you very much for attending this evening. And with that, announcement of meeting procedures. Please wait to be recognized by the chair, who for tonight is me. We're going to give people a couple of minutes to speak. When they are speaking, we'll let people who haven't had a chance to speak first. Can someone do the timer for me?
I can try to grab it. Yep.
Would you mind doing that, Commissioner Gore? Thank you very much. So with that, let's move to adoption of prior meeting minutes. Commissioner Grunewald?
Yes, I move that we adopt the draft meeting minutes for July 13 with leave to make technical corrections. Do I have a second?
Second.
Liz, would you like to conduct the vote?
I would. Thank you. Let's just do it in order. 01?
Yeah.
02?
Yes.
03?
Yes.
04? Oh, yeah. No, 04.
Laura's not here.
That's Laura.
I'm here, but I did not hear the motion on which we were voting. I've had some technical
We're
troubles.
moving to adopt the minutes.
Yes.
Prior meeting minutes. 04, there you are.
Yes.
Hi. And then you can
Yes.
take over if you want, running the meeting. I'll just finish this up.
Going for now. You keep going for now.
Okay. 05 is not here. And 06,
Yeah.
Peter? And 07, yes. And I should say that we do have a quorum And one of our commissioners is absent tonight, but we do have a quorum. Okay, so that motion passes. Okay, the other thing that we need to look at is the agenda. To adopt the agenda? I move
think-
to adopt the agenda. Are there comments? Peter?
No, I think Commissioner Grunewald has a proposed amendment to the agenda.
I know, but I have to make the motion first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, yes, thank
Second.
you. Oh, Lisa, you're in two places.
I know. I don't know what's happening.
Kind of weird. Hi.
Thrown out and thrown back in. Sorry, folks.
It could be that
Do
you're
you want
both.
me to try to mute to stop reverb? Or are we okay?
We're okay. Carol? Commissioner Grunewald?
Yes, yeah. So I would like to propose that we add 2 items to the agenda tonight. I'd like to have a short discussion about Ingleside and how we could proceed with Ingleside, the Ingleside application. And the other thing I'd like to add to the agenda is a short discussion about DEMPED's answers to our so-called answers to our 55 questions on July 6th and how we could proceed with DEMPED.
I think we need to take them one at a time. So let's start with Ingleside.
Yeah, I would move to include a short discussion of how we should proceed with Ingleside onto the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Sherman. So any discussion on that, or can we move to the vote? Commissioner Gosselin?
Yeah, I'm perfectly prepared to consider Carol's letter asking for Ingleside to delay filing anything until we've had more of a chance. I don't think it's productive in this last meeting to go over to try to come up with a strategy for how we deal with it, other than we are going to need more time. And so I hope that, I mean, I'm willing to support putting this on the agenda, but as a discussion on vote on the letter. Can we agree to that, Commissioner
Commissioner
Grunewald?
Grunewald has wanted to say something about that, and then
yeah.
Commissioner Gore.
Well, yeah. Am I allowed to speak here or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to go over a quick letter. I'm sorry it was a little late. But I also wanted to discuss the fact that I created a list of questions for Ingleside, or questions that we need to have answered about the development. And I'd like to send those questions to all the commissioners so that we can think about these questions over time. And I also wanted to discuss with the commission that I think we need the advice and guidance of a land use attorney because this medical campus zoning application is quite complicated. And I understand that there are a couple of land use attorneys working at the AG's office. So I'd like to discuss that with you all. And I also wanted to just briefly mention that Peter and I are working on putting the Ingleside proposal together, putting it up on GoVocal. So all those things I'd like to have a brief discussion about. I have no intention of forming strategy this evening.
Commissioner Gore?
Oh, that was Commissioner Gosselin covered my point, and seeing that Commissioner Grunewald is saying that no strategy we discussed tonight. I'm okay with that, but I do agree it should just be, since we have this pretty much at last minute on the agenda, a discussion on the letter and the points that Commissioner Grunewald raised. I don't have an issue with discussing that.
Okay. And Commissioner Sherman?
Yeah, I'm seconding that, or thirding that, if you will.
All right, so where does that leave us? With the short discussion, Commissioner Grunewald?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
No, are we voting to put this on the agenda? Oh,
We are voting. Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you.
It
Not
was-
used to this.
It
Thank
was
you.
seconded.
So-
It was seconded.
It was seconded, so I'll call for the vote. O1. The motion is to put the letter on the agenda and have a short
The letter
discussion.
and the letter and a discussion of all those items I just mentioned on the agenda.
Yes, and Commissioner Gore says yes.
Yeah.
O2,
Yes.
03,
Yes.
04. Uh-oh, I think we might have lost her.
No.
Oh, no, there you are. Commissioner
Laura, raise your
Fincy?
hand.
I'm sorry, I got disconnected. So, yeah,
That's okay. Are you, the motion is on the letter and a short discussion about items like hiring, or
Yes,
not hiring,
I
but
agree.
consulting.
I agree to put that on the agenda. Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Goslin?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm a yes. So that's 6-0. And any abstentions? I gotta ask. No abstentions. So 6-0-0. And by the way, the minutes were also 6-0-0. Okay. Commissioner Grunewald,
Yeah.
you want to talk about your letter?
Yes. No, I don't. I want to continue trying to get something else on the agenda. As I'd mentioned, we received the answers, quote unquote, to 55 questions that the ANC had sent to DEMPED on July 6th. And I think clearly everyone can see that most of these answers were inadequate. So I would like to have a brief discussion about what our response is going to be to DEMPED. So I move that we add that to the agenda.
Commissioner Gore, are you going to stay for this discussion? I feel compelled to ask.
Well, that's not, let me raise my hand.
We haven't voted on to add it yet.
Is there a second? Okay, fair enough. Is there a second to that motion to
Second.
talk about DEMPED? Okay. All right, Commissioner Gore, you have your hand up.
Sure. So I'm not sure how long this discussion is going to be. I would ask that we cap the discussion. I don't know if all the commissioners are prepared for this discussion. I'm certainly not, because I haven't gone over, formulated, my concerns with their responses or anything. And the commissioner that sits over the Civic Corps, Commissioner Simmons, is not here because she had a scheduling conflict that she had to address. So I really don't feel comfortable having this discussion with Commissioner Simmons not being present. So I would say that we stay this until September, where we can all have an opportunity to review the questions, formulate our responses, and come prepared to have a discussion to include the commissioner that sits over the project.
Commissioner Grunewald, sorry, I think Commissioner Grunewald was first, Commissioner Goslin after that.
Yeah, I just want to point out that our next meeting, I believe, is September 28th. That's quite far away.
I think it might be the 13th.
Really?
Am I getting that wrong?
I thought it was.
Anybody?
Laura, do you happen to know?
I think Liz is correct, but let me see if the tech will allow me to double check.
The calendar online indicates it's the 14th.
The 14th.
14th, sorry, 14th.
Sorry
Okay.
about that.
That's okay. Commissioner Goslin?
I'm prepared to have this on the agenda if the proposal is simply to write a letter to DEMPED saying we're disappointed in the number of answers that were TBA answers or TBD answers. But again, we are about to go on recess. Commissioner Simmons isn't here. I don't see any way to have this discussion without effectively having a strategy discussion, which none of us are prepared to. I don't think we're prepared to have. So if Commissioner Grunewald would consider a letter that simply expresses our disappointment in the adequacy of the answers as a stopgap, I'm prepared to vote for this. Otherwise, I'm not.
Commissioner Sherman?
Yeah, so I'm prepared to have a conversation about a letter. I agree with that. I'm also prepared to connect whatever our response would be in that letter to our standing resolutions that we have passed over the last several months, including the one that the commission approved on June 8th. So I think there is an opportunity here to connect a few pieces of standing ANC policy in light of the answers and in the context of sending a letter.
Commissioner Grunewald?
Yeah, I'd like to point out that I believe Commissioner Gore must recuse from this issue. So I believe that Commissioner Gore should be voting on whether or not to include this on the agenda tonight.
Point of order.
What is your point?
The commissioner is incorrect and is actually not following a procedure that BEGA has outlined. The commissioner has no standing or authority to declare whether I have a conflict of interest or not. That is my judgment. And I've told the community repeatedly, and I will tell this ANC, as the office of ANC has repeatedly told this ANC that it is up to individual commissioners to recuse. I have no conflict of interest in this matter whatsoever. I will not be recusing. And if Commissioner Grunewald has an issue with that, that is her personal issue.
You'd like to
She
point
is
out
out of
that
order. She's out of order for even raising it.
point not well taken. It's not the OANC that gets to decide what ethical concerns are valid. It's BEGA, not OANC. So your point of order is not well taken on that point.
Commissioner Nagy, that's not my point of order. My point of order was that the Commissioner Grunwald is out of order for raising the issue. The issue has been given to us by OANC and BEGA. BEGA and OANC have provided similar advice. That's not my point of order. Thank you. We can move on. I will not be recusing.
Commissioner Grunewald?
Yeah, I would like to say that I don't believe I'm out of order. I express my personal opinion. It's up to Commissioner Gore whether she recuses or not, but I feel free to express my own personal opinion on this commission. Thank you.
Commissioner Sherman?
Okay, yeah, can we just please proceed to vote on the issue of adding it to the agenda for the time being?
Yes. So let's vote. 01?
In favor, if
Of a letter
point
and
of
discuss.
yeah, point of clarification. What are the
We're
parameters?
voting on, yeah, you want to know what we're voting on, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my understanding is that we're voting on a letter to DEMPED expressing our disappointment at the lack of information in their responses to the 50 questions. And Commissioner Gosselin?
Point of order, point of order. Aren't we voting on just putting this on the agenda? Aren't we still at that?
We are, but it's what are we putting on the agenda
Yeah.
is the question. And we're putting a letter to DEMPED expressing our disappointment on the agenda. Do we all agree that that's the motion? Yes?
Mhm.
Commissioner Sherman, Grunewald?
Yes, that's fine. I've indicated we should proceed to vote.
Okay, I just want to clarify because there seems to be some question. Okay, we're going to do this again. 01,
In favor.
02,
Yes.
03,
Yes.
04,
Yes,
06,
No.
no?
No. Given the
Okay.
discussion we just had, it seems to me this is going to be simply another one of our great fights. And I don't think, particularly given what Commissioner Sherman said about attaching an expression of disappointment to a vote that when I voted no, is going to result in any letter I can support. So I just think this is a useless exercise. So I vote no.
Okay. And that leaves me and I vote yes. So 5-1, are there any abstentions? No. Okay, the vote is 5-1-0 to put a letter to DEMPED on the agenda. Okay. All right, resident announcements. Do we have any resident announcements? If you, as residents, would like to raise your hand, and please remember that it's to deal with matters that are not on the agenda. Cal, Simone?
Hi, so I'd hoped to add this, to have this added to the agenda, but apparently that's not what's happening because I wanted to broadcast this out to the community because we didn't really have time for Q&A when I did this 2 meetings ago or 3 meetings ago, whenever it was, June 22nd, I think it was. But so at this point, I'm just going to give, and there's not many community members here. So most of the community members would listen to this as a recording probably. So there's a couple of more changes that have happened. Originally, I was going to do Q&A on the whole thing, all the bus changes, the red line closures, all that stuff. But it doesn't seem like that's on the agenda. So I'm just can I share my screen?
Like putting it on the agenda, which generally speaking, you need to ask your commissioner.
I did
to
ask
put it on the agenda.
I did ask to the chair and another commissioner and chair and the
Okay.
secretary.
Does anyone have any objection to this?
Well,
How
no,
long will this be, Cal?
no, because I
Commissioner
didn't have
Gore?
it. I don't need to do it because there's not the community. I didn't get a chance to get it out to the community, so there's not a lot of community members here that would have known this was going to happen. So at this point, I just want to take my 3 minutes or whatever during the community announcements and show the slides of what changed since the last time I spoke.
Okay. It's actually 2 minutes, Cal.
Okay,
Go for it.
I
Yeah.
need to share my screen.
Okay. Let me see. That's another thing that I'm not really well versed in.
Well, I can make a request and
I think I can do this, Commissioner Moggy.
Thank you,
I'm
Laura.
trying from my
it's done.
check in.
Whoever,
Try
Yes.
this.
Okay. Then,
whoever did it, it's done. Okay.
okay. Go ahead. It might have been Commissioner Gore or it was
Thank you.
Commissioner Fennessy. I'm not sure. But thank you, whoever did it.
Yep, thank you. Okay, so theoretically, if I go to full screen to do this slideshow, okay, there we go. So one that I mentioned verbally last meeting was the change in the location of the bus stop on McKinley Street. So this is McKinley Street from Western to where it turns on Nevada. And the stop here at Chevy Chase Parkway has been moved to the intersection of Nevada and McKinley and Nevada, right where the bus makes the turn. So it looks like it's now moved from there to there. That's the first change. The second is these are just things that I have not covered before. There's a temporary closures on Nebraska Avenue. That's probably going to run through the end of this week, I'm guessing. And that is this is the transfer point on both sides of Nebraska Avenue at Military where all the buses, all the C81, 83, 85, 87 all come together. That stop is out of commission and has been for 2 weeks and will be probably till the end of this week. And then the last thing is there's a change in locations. 3 days after the red line shutdown came in, there's a change to where the C83 stops. The C83 was stopping on the Bus Bay K in between on the east side of northbound side of Wisconsin Avenue between Western and Wisconsin. That stop has now been moved to this location that's not marked on the map. If you can see my little cursor moving around, hopefully. Oops, I got to go back. There we go. And this is a temporary stop during the rest of the shutdown for the beginning and end of the C83. So it will not stop at the terminal. It's actually going to go up Wisconsin Circle, Willard Avenue, down Frontier Boulevard, and back up. So you need to allow a few extra minutes to get, say, to the metro if you're going to be going to the metro. This is also the stop for the D96 if you're going to Bethesda, which also was stopping it. So Bus Bay K is now being used for the local shuttle buses that are replacing the Red Line. And this stop down here next to Trader Joe's is only for the express buses that skip all of the metro stations until they get to North Bethesda. Any questions? Those are the 3 things I wanted to share. Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
One more
Go
thing. D70 The D70 is going to get all-night service starting in December.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cal, do you know the bus lanes on Wisconsin Avenue? Is that a permanent change, or is that
No, what
just for the duration of the work between Friendship Heights and?
the announcement was it's for the duration until September 6th. But like Georgia Avenue, when they did it in Georgia Avenue, they're going to evaluate whether they want to keep them permanently.
And will there be any community input into that decision or not?
I have no idea. I will find out and report
That would be
back.
great.
But unfortunately, you don't have your next meeting until after the end of the red line shutdown. So
if indeed they actually finish on time. I'm going to just call on Mrs. Walters, and then I think Commissioner Finney is going to resume taking the chair. So, Ms. Walters?
Yes, hi, good evening, commissioners and residents. My name is Ann Walters, and I'm the outreach coordinator for the DC Plug project. And I'm here to just give a very short update. Mr. Cowell, for the bus stop, let me just start off with that. For the bus stop at Military and Broad Branch, I think that's open. They did the line striping today. So the bus stops right there, Military, should be reopened. And also Nevada and Nebraska, those bus stops should have been opened up today, or I think Saturday after they completed the paving. But I can double check tomorrow again. But I think those stops are open. For the lane closures on the westbound lanes on Nebraska Avenue, there will be, they've decided to move the date again to August 17th instead of August 7th due to the rain and other weather conditions. Obviously they won't be on schedule to reopen the lanes by August the 8th. So it's been pushed up to back to August 17th. I will update the traffic advisory, and I'll also update the notification and share that with residents, especially those who are broadly impacted by the westbound lane closures on Nebraska Avenue, starting from Nevada to Connecticut Avenue. I'll also make sure I engage the residents on the side streets, Ingham or Jennifer Street, and also residents in Connecticut Avenue that do use the alleys. That's it so far. They're concentrating on trying to get Nevada Avenue completed and get out of the way, because that's the main thoroughfare over there. So that's where they've put most of their efforts right now. As soon as they've completed their schedule for the other areas, I'll definitely update the commissioners, especially Commissioner Gosselin and Mr. Cowell, when they will be on your street. But for now, they won't be doing any work anywhere else until at least for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They're concentrating on the Nebraska Avenue. That's it.
Walters,
for the DC.
I'm sorry. I thought you were
No, go
finished.
ahead.
No, I was
Yes.
going to say, I'm going to probably reach out to you because Jennifer Street is, generally speaking, except for one little leg of it, in my SMD. So I'll send you an email and we can look at what it is exactly that's going to happen there, if that's okay.
Well, yes, sure. The alley I know is open. I met with a resident last week on Jennifer Street, and she just wanted to know if the MOT could be shifted a little bit so she could have access to the alley, which the construction manager did. But yes, please reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions and or concerns on
Thank you.
behalf of your constituents.
Thank you very much. One of the things that we didn't talk about for the agenda, I apologize for this, is how much time to give and where the two additional topics will be on the agenda. Commissioner Fennessy, would you like to take over here?
Sure, and I just want to thank everybody for a little patience and as I try to log in North Carolina. I'm not sure why the tech wasn't being my friend here. But as I understand it, we are able to move on now to the grant part of the Chevy Chase Day. Yeah, Commissioner Gosselin?
Before we lose Ann Walters, Ann, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I just want to highlight to you the complaint from the resident on 39th Street about the oil leaking front end loader in front of his house. I can forward it to you if you didn't notice it, but I want to be sure that's taken care of. 39th Street is taking a pounding these days, both from your work and because of parking problems around Wheelhouse Restaurant. So those people need some relief. Did you notice that I was simply copied on an email to you?
No, I have not received Commissioner Gosselin email regarding any oil leak, but please feel free to send that over to me, and I'll make sure we get that addressed ASAP. What I received on 39th Street was the contractor put a steel plate on someone's flower bed, and we've discussed, had a conversation with the resident, and that would be
I'll get you the oil leak question,
yes,
and hope
please,
you know the flower bed question. Thank you.
Yes, thanks.
Okay, I'm fine, Commissioner Chair Fennessy.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin, and thank you, Ms. Waters, and thank you, everybody. Rather spotty, but hopefully I will be able to continue if I get in hot water. Thank you, Vice Chair Nagy, for stepping in on like 10 minutes notice, and hopefully you won't have to do it anymore. So I believe now we're on to the Chevy Chase Day grant. Commissioner Gosselin, I understand you were going to handle that on behalf of Commissioner Simmons?
Yes, I am. I think we know Chevy Chase Day. It's a major event in our community. We've supported it in the past. Jory Barone is with us if there are any further questions, but I would move that we vote to approve the grant to the Chevy Chase Community Association to assist in this celebration of our neighborhood. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you.
We have a second. Great.
You can run if there's discussion. I think this is something we can handle quickly. So is there
I agree. Does anyone have any questions that they feel that we did not answer at the July 13th meeting that they need to hear on? I am seeing no hands. Okay, I think we can then proceed to a vote. We have a second. So all those in favor of supporting the application for the ice cream truck on Chevy Chase Day, please say aye. I'll go through in single member district order. 01?
Yes.
02?
Yes.
03?
You're muted.
Yes.
04 says yes. 05 is absent. 06?
Yes.
And 07?
Yes.
Okay, so that by a vote of 6-0, the application for the grant is approved. And we look forward to good weather and a good event. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you very
Okay.
much for approving it. I appreciate it.
You are most welcome, and thank you for coming back. And we look forward to seeing you on Chevy Chase Day.
Great.
Take care.
Thanks a lot.
And thanks for all your work on this. Okay, so then now I believe we have the two items that we added to the agenda. The discussion on Ingleside. We had Carol Grunewald and Peter Gosselin. I believe both had some questions on that. Carol, would you like to start off on that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So the reason I wanted to add this to the agenda, I've been analyzing the Ingleside proposal for some time and developing a lot of questions, and it really is a lot more complicated than we would think. Last time around, the last time Ingleside expanded, they did so under, the usual zoning rules, and now we're being confronted with at least it's a 10-year-old rule regulation. It's a medical campus plan, but Ingleside has never used it before, and I think it's new to our ANC. So it's a complicated application, and I want to make sure that our ANC gets this right for them and for our community both. I had four things that I wanted to discuss briefly regarding Ingleside. The first is my proposed letter, which I'm sorry I had to whip out today, just asking Ingleside to slow down its timeline. They had proposed to submit their application to the Zoning Commission by mid-September, and our first day back from August recess is September 14. I don't see how we can possibly begin to do a serious review of this important application. So I sent out this letter to all of you. It's quite possible you haven't had a chance to see it, but it's a basic letter. There's nothing controversial in it. I was hoping that we could review the letter. If anyone has any suggestions for changes, I'm open to making them. But I think it's important to ask Ingleside to please slow down, especially since they submitted their application right before we are going into recess. And the first day back for us really is September 14. So I wanted to talk about that. The second thing I wanted to talk about was I'd created a list of questions and things that need answering, a short analysis and some questions that need answering before our community and our ANC can weigh in. And what I'd like to do is send that privately to all commissioners, so you can just take a look at it and maybe add to the list of questions, or just take a look at it, think about it maybe while we're all on August recess. The third thing I wanted to discuss is our reaching out to a land use attorney to help guide us through this medical campus zoning application. And I am going to recommend that Laura and I contact the AG's office, where I understand there are a couple of land use attorneys, and I'd like to have them answer a lot of our questions and perhaps come to one of our meetings to explain this. It's not a simple matter. And then the last item I wanted to bring up was the fact that Peter and I are working on putting the Ingleside proposal on Go Vocal. However, I just wanted to point out that, we really can't survey constituents until we get answers to some serious questions about this application. So I guess what I'm hoping that Peter and I can do is put the proposal on Go Vocal and then kind of see where we want to proceed from there in terms of putting a survey out, or what I'd like to do perhaps is list some of the questions that I'm going to send you. I think that, would get our community thinking about some of the questions that need to be answered. But I don't see us doing a survey until we get, we can't ask our constituents what they think about this proposal till we thoroughly understand it and can explain it to them and get a lot of important questions answered. So those are the things I'd wanted to talk about this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Grunewald, for digging into this and really going into the weeds. Commissioner Sherman has his hand raised, so I'll go call on him. Commissioner Sherman.
I think Commissioner Gosselin was before me, Chair Fennessy.
Okay, the Zoom here, please
I'm
forgive
sorry.
my techie problems. That's fine, Commissioner Gosselin.
I'm fine with the letter. We need to change the date about our next meeting. I think in the
Yes.
draft proposal.
I got that.
With regard to the questions, I mean, why don't you send them to all of us? If no one has objections, it seems to me that those are useful things to put on Go Vocal as
Great.
questions that we're asking and questions that Ingleside might consider. We've, over the course of the 6 years I've been on the commission, we've used the AG's land use office repeatedly, and I don't think. I mean, if you want to vote on that, that's fine. But I think it makes sense for the commissioner in whose district this occurs to simply reach out to the land use office. So I don't think we need to make a federal case over that. Carol, you and I will go back and forth on Go Vocal, but I am very clear that there are trust issues about my use of Go Vocal, and so I will defer on text. But I do think that I received the Ingleside presentation, and I've started footsing around with it, and I think it's going to be an easy. The first phase of the Go Vocal, just getting the information up and presenting it to people, will be a relatively easy lift and doable this week.
Thank you.
That's my say. I don't know if you need a second on the letter, but if you do, a second with the change of date is you have it from me.
All right. Well, thank you, Commissioner Goslin. And let's hear. I see Commissioner Sherman and now Commissioner Gore have their hands up. So, Commissioner Sherman.
Right. So I support the letter. I support the questions. I don't know what they are yet, but I support certainly presenting those and having a discussion around those. I think we also need to think about what the ANC's role is going to be in this matter compared to a private organization that could develop a memorandum of understanding for this project, something we would not have a direct hand in, but we could be supportive of if there is such a community group. So let me ask Commissioner Grunewald, is there a community organization of some sort that might form to develop an MOU with Ingleside for this project?
Right. And I just, sorry, just to remind you, Commissioner Sherman, we're being a little formal, but if you can direct your comments through the chair, of course.
Right.
Thanks.
Well,
so I'll be happy. Commissioner Grunewald, would you answer his question kindly?
Sure.
Okay. Thanks.
I'm not aware of any group just yet, but one of the things I've listed in that list of questions that I have is, there are some big players, some heavy hitters and among the 200 footers, and plus, important residents. All of us are important residents who live around the community. So I thought that perhaps a couple of us would want to meet with some of those 200 footers and see if we can get something going. Carnegie's there, Sinai's there, the Peruvian embassy, the Tunisian and Ivory Coast embassies are involved in all of this. So I was hoping that perhaps I could snag our chair. Perhaps our chair and I could go over there and meet with folks and talk them up and see who wants to take the lead on forming a community organization.
Right. Chair, I would just say in response to that the prior Ingleside task force is instructive in lots of ways. Again, we understand now our statutory limitations in terms of doing something similar to that and certainly levying fines. But the fact that there were so many fines previously indicates that there were lots of violations of the MOU. And in order to protect the neighbors, it's critical for some type of structure, some type of an agreement to take place. And again, I note that back in 2004, 22 years ago, it was the agreement between an association of neighbors adjacent to Knollwood that formed an MOU negotiated with Knollwood for the development of its major expansion. So we have several models in the community that we are mindful of as an ANC and can suggest to different groups. But I would underscore there has to be in this undertaking, which is sizable, there has to be some type of uh, structure in place, framework in place to protect the interest of the neighbors during the construction.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Now, I am not sure with my current Zoom format who is next. I believe it was Commissioner Gore, but if I am not correct, please correct me, because on my left, I have Commissioner Nagy, but I think she was the last hand raised. So I'm going to go with Commissioner. Okay, so I'm going to go with Commissioner Gore.
Thank you. So I did have a chance to look at the letter. It was sent very late, so I had to do some rush review there. I'm glad I saw the email. But my concern with the letter is that, and I wouldn't say that it's not impactful, is that it's pretty open-ended and broad. And I think that second or third sentence where we ask for Ingleside to delay, and I can't recall the exact language, so forgive me, but there is something in there about we are asking for Ingleside to delay their application until the community is heard, or some broad language in there. I would personally feel more comfortable if that language was more specific. I don't know what we're, and this is where the strategy comes in. That's very broad. I mean, is that a community meeting that we're asking for? So I think Ingleside is going to look at the content of the letter, and particularly that sentence, and also think that it's a very broad ask from the ANC. And, I don't think it serves any purpose to unnecessarily delay projects. I mean, that's time, and time is money that Ingleside or the development team could spend on community benefits rather than paying attorneys to answer a delay. So I think our ask to them should be very specific. We don't even have a timeline in there. What are we proposing in terms of working with the community, and when are we proposing to do that? I think that's critical for any organization to have a response. So I don't know if I can support this letter as it's written. I support the spirit of it, obviously, because I think there should be broad community engagement, but I think the ANC should put itself in a better position to really lay out some specifics to give to Ingleside so that they can make an accurate decision. And we don't even have a decision timeline in the letter. So to me, the letter is lacking in some specificity.
Thank you, Commissioner Gore. I have a question, maybe inferring from your comments, but Commissioner Grunewald, with our first ANC meeting after the recess back on September 14th and our second one on September 28th, did you have a sense of when we might be able to have information to work with and have a community meeting? If they were to get us the information by September 1, would it be ready? Do you think we could digest it by the September 14th meeting?
The problem here is that we're not getting all our information from Ingleside. We're going to need to contact various agencies and land use attorneys to get information. We can't just rely totally on what Ingleside is going to be sending us. So it's kind of hard to work up a schedule when things are this amorphous.
Thank you for that reaction. Now, who was next? Was Commissioner Nagy next or Gosselin?
Well, I've spoken, so if you want.
You can go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay, then I'll go to Commissioner
Gosselin
Nagy.
can go ahead.
And then,
okay.
Okay.
Okay, let me make a suggestion addressing Commissioner Gore's concerns, and I understand them. We certainly on this commission have watched projects yet discussed over really long time frames. What if we suggested that we are working within information, but right now, at least an initial time frame for us to get organized and get community input would be a delay in September, October until November 1st. Would you consider adding that to the letter? And with a sentence, if this makes you more comfortable, that, as we learn more, we may seek, an additional delay. I do think that Commissioner Gore's point, given this commission's experience, I think Commissioner Gore's point is well taken, that we should, if only to set deadlines for ourselves, we and brace up, and that we should set an outside date, with some caveat that if important new information comes available, we may ask for other things. And again, with regard to OANC, no, I'm sorry. With regard to the Attorney General's office, the land use section, they're extraordinarily responsive. I mean, we're not going to be holding our breath for. They will give us advice quickly and comprehensively. So take that worry off the table.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Goslin. I'll go to Commissioner Nagy now.
Well, I wanted to underscore something that Commissioner Sherman had said, because we recognize the limitations of the ANC with respect to memoranda of understanding. And I just wanted to say that in my own SMD, the experience is that there is an MOU for 5333, which Commissioner Goslin is very familiar with. And it is not being honored by the apartment building at 5333. So I'm going to talk about that later in the meeting during my little time. But it is a problem that we need to think about and figure out a way for the community to enforce whatever agreements it comes to with Ingleside, recognizing that we can't do it for them.
Thank you, Commissioner Nagy. Commissioner Grunewald or Commissioner Sherman?
Well, I think Bruce was first.
Okay, Commissioner Sherman.
Just by way of recalling past experiences, as I looked back on the prior Ingleside expansion, the period of time that the ANC considered the proposal was about 6 months. The Moray project was similarly about 6 months, from September 2021 to February 22, before the ANC issued its resolution in support of the project. We received the PowerPoint presentation just a few weeks ago. We are on recess in August. That month doesn't count. So just in terms of parallel experiences in the past, I think we need to allow adequate time for this. I'm fine putting a date out per Commissioner Goslin's suggestion. But I also want us to be clear here. We're talking about safeguarding community interests, but the applicant in this case has a responsibility, equally or more so than the ANC, to reach out to the community. It is seeking the application. It's seeking the relief. And therefore, the question would be, as we go through this, the next several months, what outreach is Ingleside doing? How can we work with them in that capacity? So lots of questions, but this, again, for the community members, there aren't that many on this call today, but relatively few people in the community at this point, my guess is, are aware of this. And certainly the intricacies of it, the complexities of it. It's a massive undertaking, and not to give any of it short shrift and not to prolong it, but we got a lot of work to do here.
I froze for a moment. Thank you, Commissioner Sherman. One thought that is occurring to me, if I can jump in here, if we were to push back and put a hard date in it, as I'm inferring that Commissioner Gore might like to do, to help kind of give some more specifics to it, then if we were able to, among ourselves, circulate the questions, we could append those to the letter. If we were in agreement that we might take a week or 2 weeks, even though it is going to be recess, to consolidate and check those questions that Commissioner Grunewald has gotten together. If it's got a November 1st deadline, then we could maybe afford that week and get it back to Ingleside. So that's just my thought at this moment. Commissioner Grunewald.
Yeah. So Peter suggested the date of November 1. What date does that exactly signify? Is that the date we're asking Ingleside to hold off until they, is that the filing date for Ingleside, or what is the November 1 date? And my next question is, if it is November 1 that we're asking Ingleside to do something, it's not clear what it is yet. That seems far short of the 6 months that Commissioner Sherman just explained was taken by our ANC to review the previous Ingleside expansion and the Murray thing. So can we discuss, please, the date and what we expect to have happened by that date?
I'd be glad to address that.
Okay. Commissioner Gosselin.
I think a couple of things. First of all, Carol, I'm happy to have both the date and some sentence that says if major new information becomes available, or we feel there are areas we need to cover, we're going to ask for a further extension. And I think the date is basically says at least do not file at least until November 1st. And finally, per Bruce, I would suggest adding a sentence to the letter that says, we encourage Ingleside and will be glad to assist Ingleside in reaching out to the community in a fulsome way, and particularly discussing the issues of both construction and size and design with the 200 footers. But I become just to be clear about my position, I get uncomfortable if we start extending it off into 2027. Yes, I think we would be better off with a near-term type. It would be an incentive for us to move quickly and to really bear down on this, and it would be an incentive for Ingleside as well.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. And the Ingleside slide did say that they intend to file their application mid-September. So if the filing were put off until November 1st, that would be a 6-week bump back. Okay. I hope I'm in the right order here. Commissioner Nagy, were you next?
I think so. Thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to point out that, although it's not entirely clear what a medical campus plan is, my guess is that it's an overarching plan for the property, and that once that's approved by the zoning commission, Ingleside does not need to go back for permission to do much. And I think that we need to remember that and take that into account, because that's going to set the direction for Ingleside for many, many years to come. So it behooves us to get this right now, before the campus plan is approved by the zoning commission. So I'm not sure that November 1st is long enough. I don't agree I agree that we can't postpone this indefinitely and put it off indefinitely, but November 1st is not that far away, considering we're in recess in August and what we need to get done in September and October. And this is really important. This medical campus plan, I think, is going to be a big, big deal for the neighborhood and for the people who live near Ingleside, and for people who are traveling up Broad Branch Road and see a big building right next to them.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Nagy. All right, I think my next two, I'm trying to figure out who was before the other, were Commissioner Sherman and Commissioner Gore. Do you know who was prior?
Commissioner Gore could go ahead. That's fine.
Commissioner Gore?
Oh, so I was just want to thank you. It was Sherman was next, but I don't mind going. I agree with Commissioner Gosselin's assessment, and I would support the November 1st. I would add that I also agree with Commissioner Sherman that as an ANC, we have a lot of work to do on this, and that should involve the land use attorney's office, and they could potentially also help us with the roadmap in terms of getting involved early, what questions to ask, how to structure community conversations. They're really, 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 really excellent at that. Commissioner Gosselin is right. And if you just call them, whoever, Commissioner Grunewald can just pick up the phone, call them, they will call her right back immediately. They're really wonderful to work with, and they're neutral. So that is, to me, the best thing, is to have someone neutrally telling you the best way to go. And I agree also. I think it was maybe, I can't remember whose suggestion it was, to add in the letter some type of clause where we're asking them to work with us, because we do, and given credit to Commissioner Sherman's suggestion, we don't want 6 months out. That's too long for us. It's too long for the community. If we can get the engagement plan using Go Vocal and those community resources and get Ingleside on our page to help produce a really good community engagement sessions, plural, that would be, I think, the best strategy for us. So I would encourage us to add that conciliatory paragraph, towards the end of the letter. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, just to identify a couple of elements in this process. One is the work that we would need to do prior to Ingleside filing its application, and then the work that we would do after they filed their application and before the hearing, before the zoning commission. So there's due diligence that we want to do in order to have some influence on behalf of the community and obviously on behalf of Ingleside in shaping that application. Because once the application is done, there is still room, obviously, to shape that when it goes before the zoning commission, but a lot is captured in an application of this sort. So I want us to be clear on what we want to do up to the filing of the application. And then following that, we would have a period of time between the hearing and the application filing to do a lot of this work that we need to do. So I wanted to mention that, and also mention that I think, and I don't want to put all this on Commissioner Grunewald. She's already been thinking about the questions. What we're talking about tonight and what Commissioner Gore just mentioned in terms of a roadmap, we should be thinking about what the elements of analysis are that we need to do and the time required for those, so that we have a bit of a plan in that regard. And we have the month of August perhaps to try to work on that. In other words, not just say an arbitrary date. And I'm not talking about what Commissioner Gosselin is referring to in terms of the filing. I'm talking about when there might be a hearing and how all this plays out. There are certain things we absolutely have to do on behalf of the community. We just need to identify what those are and put reasonable time allocations on those so that we do the work that we know is ahead of us.
Thank you. And just again, in the presentation that Ingleside gave us, and which is now on our ANC webpage, and there's a new zoning and development issues tab. They intend to have a community presentation to the ANC in the fall, and then have their zoning hearing late 2026 or early 27. So they're wanting to move really fast. Yeah. All right. Commissioner Grunewald.
Yeah, I just wanted to note that we only have 3 ANC meetings before November 1. I would be in favor of extending this to November 15. Instead of giving them a month and a half, ask them to hold off for 2 months. We have a lot of work to do. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it, get it all done. We have a lot of big players, and we've got attorneys, and I'd hate for us to vote against this proposal simply because we don't have enough information or haven't gotten the information that we need.
We've got a couple more comments, and then maybe we can move towards voting on if we want to do the letter and what we want in it. Commissioner Gosselin, were you next?
Yeah.
Or Commissioner Nagy?
I think I was next. Let me say 2 things. One is fine. I'm willing to do the November 15th. That's fine. we keep talking as if the world stops at the end of this meeting until September 14th. It doesn't stop for the AG's office. So to the questions that, or the concerns that Commissioner Nagy raised, that somehow a medical campus means something broader, we can get answers to that quickly. And I mean, we could start getting answers tomorrow. So I do think that the notion that we, a voluntary board, are on recess for 6 weeks or something like 6 weeks doesn't mean the DC government is. We can mobilize the Attorney General's land use office quickly. I just say. I do think that absent a firm outside date that forms some sort of incentive for us, I can't vote for this letter. So I do hope that, I'm happy to go November 15th. I'm happy to have a sentence that says we may have to ask for more time. But I do think that absent that, I can't vote for the letter because I've watched these things drag on for terribly long. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. Commissioner Nagy? Commissioner Nagy?
Sorry, yeah, I just wanted to point out that Commissioner Simmons has joined us.
Thank you, and welcome, Commissioner Simmons. Okay, so I'm hearing that the text of the first paragraph is really the part that might need to be changed. Commissioner Grunewald, would you be able to either screen share or read aloud the first paragraph so that we might be able to perhaps come up with some clear amendment language? Because it sounds like people are generally in favor. Could you be so kind to read that?
Yeah. I don't know how to screen share. I'm sorry, but I will read it. So, dear Ingleside representatives, and I would list the names of the leadership and Ingleside's attorney there. ANC 34G appreciates Ingleside's initial presentation at our July 13 meeting regarding its proposed expansion and anticipated medical campus plan application to the DC Zoning Commission. We are writing to request that Ingleside postpone filing its application until the ANC and the surrounding community have had a meaningful opportunity to review the proposal and conduct the necessary due diligence. A mid-September filing would not provide sufficient time for this review. Ingleside presented its plans shortly before the ANC's August recess, when several commissioners had already departed or were preparing to leave for summer vacations. The ANC intends to begin its substantive review in September, and its first regular meeting following the recess is September 14. As you may recall, ANC 34G was closely involved in Ingleside's previous expansion. The ANC undertook an extensive review both before and after the zoning application was filed, and worked with Ingleside to develop a plan that addressed the institution's needs while protecting the interests of the surrounding Chevy Chase community. The current commission would like to engage in a similarly thorough and constructive process. Ingleside's proposal is substantial, and both Ingleside and the community would benefit from careful consideration before the application is filed. Nearby property owners, including those within 200 feet of the project, also need time to review the proposal, organize, and establish a process for working with Ingleside to identify and mitigate potential adverse effects. The ANC has numerous questions that may require information from Ingleside, district agencies, and independent experts. In particular, the medical campus plan regulations governing the application are complex. The Commission needs sufficient time to understand the applicable zoning standards, the relief or approvals being requested, and the proposal's potential effects on neighboring properties and the surrounding community. A meaningful public review process requires adequate information and sufficient time for commissioners and residents to evaluate the proposal. Filing before that process has begun in earnest would unnecessarily compress the review and make productive community engagement more difficult. We therefore ask Ingleside to reconsider its proposed filing date and provide the ANC with a revised schedule that allows for a substantive review beginning in September. We would appreciate the opportunity to discuss a reasonable timetable and the information needed to support that review. We look forward to hearing from you and to maintaining a cooperative and productive relationship with Ingleside throughout this process.
Thank you. Thank you for reading that. I think there are two places where we could insert a date of November 15th. One is it towards the beginning of the letter. It maybe after there was a word until, so it's like we ask for that it be postponed until, and then it goes into language about the ANC having had time to review it.
Yeah.
But if we were to put until November 15th, comma, which should provide time for the ANC to review it, that could go there. And then at the end, when we asked like to provide a revised schedule, and then there's the words filing date, after November 18th, November 15th. So there are two places I think where the letter could be, could include those dates. So that's one thought. It also might be useful then after the second mention of November 15th at the end that, it is possible that we may need further extensions depending on the complexity of the information, but we would make all immediate efforts to, analyze any responses and information provided to us. We're not going to sit on it. That's not what you would put in there. So those are two possible places to amend the letter. The other one is we had questions. You mentioned in your letter that we have questions.
Yes.
If you put a little parenthetical phrase like appended here, if we were to agree to review those questions after this meeting, we could then vote to approve the letter as amended with leave to append a set of questions to be reviewed in the next week. I think we could do that. Are there other commissioner thoughts here? Commissioner Sherman, do I see your hand?
Yeah, just to, per the conversation we were just having, I wouldn't want to convey to Ingleside that we were expecting everything that we ultimately want to talk about to be decided by November 15th, if that's our suggested alternative date, but that there are prior matters that the ANC and the community need to consider and provide input on for the purpose of helping inform the application itself.
Okay, that is great language. Would you be so kind as to repeat that language again? Because I think we could write that down.
Well,
or you got it?
I can get it. I can get it later from the recording. I can get it tomorrow.
Okay. It's just if we're going to vote on it, it's helpful to make sure we have the wording.
Well, in a nutshell, it was just that to distinguish between the application date and the date when they have their hearing before the zoning commission, because this is a several step process. And so by the date of the application, that there are certain prior issues that the commission and the community would want to consider and provide input to Ingleside on prior to the application. That's sort of the gist of it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Commissioner Gore.
So I guess my second issue was that more the specificity of what we're asking in terms of Ingleside and, piggybacking on what Commissioner Sherman said, what are those issues? I mean, are we saying that we want the community to understand the entire application process prior to them submitting their application? I'm not clear in terms of structurally what the ANC is asking for in terms of Ingleside, in terms of like concerns. Are we there's a lot of things that were brought up in the prior meeting, traffic studies, the way the building sloped down on Broad Branch. It's just not very specific. And I would like for us to be as specific as possible.
Okay, thank you. I think those may be in the questions that Commissioner Grunewald is working on, but perhaps Commissioner Grunewald, can you speak?
Yeah, sure. So I did a little analysis here. It's quite long, but I can read some of the questions and see if this is specific enough for everyone. So I just want to start by saying there are preliminary conclusions. So several matters make this more consequential than an ordinary building proposal. The medical campus plan is treated as a special exception. Ingleside bears the burden of showing harmony with the zoning regulations and no undue adverse effect on neighboring property. Although underlying zone standards generally apply, the zoning commission may permit a comprehensive allocation of floor area, shared parking and loading, and other deviations. Buildings authorized by the approved plan may subsequently obtain permits as a matter of right, subject to the plan's conditions. Medical campus plan review focuses on campus planning and impact mitigation rather than detailed design review of individual buildings. Therefore, what I'm saying is I believe that the ANC should relate height, massing, and appearance to site planning, neighborhood impacts, zoning compatibility, and requested deviations. This means that our ANC must understand the entire development envelope that's being approved, not just the first proposed building. So some of the questions are exactly what is Ingleside asking the zoning commission to approve? What properties, lots, and square numbers will be included in the medical campus plan? Provide a certified survey and zoning map identifying each R1A and R1B portion. What is the requested duration of the plan? An approved medical campus plan could govern more than the immediate 60-unit building. Buildings covered by the plan may later seek permits as a matter of right if they comply with the plan and its conditions. If the plan has no expiration or periodic review requirement, its authority could potentially remain in place for many years and benefits future Ingleside owners or operators. Another question is, does the application authorize only the presently proposed buildings, or does it establish an envelope for additional future development? Another question would be, what maximum number of units, residents, employees, buildings, gross floor area, lot occupancy, height, and parking spaces would the complete plan authorize? What construction could obtain a permit later without another contested zoning commission hearing? What changes could be approved administratively as, quote, minor modifications, unquote? Will the ravine, 3024 Military Road, and all the other Ingleside-owned properties be included within the plan boundary? Is this being filed as a new medical campus plan, an amendment to an existing approval, or both a plan and an immediate approval of the proposed construction? Why is a medical campus plan the legally appropriate process for a project described primarily as an independent living apartment building? So, and there are other questions. What zoning relief and deviations are actually requested? I have a zillion questions. What would the public actually see? And I have several questions under that heading. Stormwater, flooding, and impervious surface. I have several questions under that. Trees, slope stability, and excavation. I have several questions under that heading. Ravine protection and previous commitments. I have several questions under that. Transportation, garage, and emergency access. I have several questions under that. Construction impacts is another heading. Operations, infrastructure, and project need. Then there's the house at 3024 Military Road. There's several questions on that. So my list of questions and my analysis is extremely specific.
How many pages total is it?
It is right now, I think it's 13 pages.
Single spaced. Single space, right?
Well, I'm a thorough person. What can I say? I mean,
you are a thorough person.
I'm a conscientious, thorough person, and
okay.
I'm not an El Slapo kind of person. So,
okay, thank you for that. That's an amazing amount of work.
I can condense it a little bit.
All right, thank you for that information, Commissioner.
You were a little garbled there. I take it as Commissioner Sherman. just a couple of quick things. It might suffice for the purposes of this letter to present a sample of those questions as indicative of the ones that
Right.
the commission has in mind,
Right.
as opposed to 13 pages. That would obviously overwhelm them.
Right.
But secondly, and let me mention also that something that I think is very important for the commission and the community, and that is that as we proceed and we put this letter out, and if we do in fact get an extension, they're willing to agree to that, that we flag in this letter that we as a commission and the community would want to see their application in draft before it is submitted. It's not too early to plant that flag. That's not the sole purpose, needless to say, of this letter, but I think that's very, very important because it's not clear until it's clear as to what they're actually asking for, and the application will spell that out. And we would want to have that, have an opportunity to take a look at that. So if that fits in the context of the letter, I would suggest that, Commissioner Grunewald.
Yeah, thank you.
So that was another suggestion to add some language that we would like to see the application in draft before it's submitted. And I think that would be consistent with the previous Ingleside application. I believe Chair Speck made some very specific suggestions on their previous application draft. Am I not correct? I think
Well,
that
it was not the case in the Murray case that the community did not see the application before it was submitted.
well, the previous Ingleside did.
Well, the previous Ingleside agreement, I'd have to go back and take a look at how that all played out.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just an important thing to have.
Thank you. Commissioner Gosselin.
Yeah, could I suggest that we move to vote on this letter? I mean, I think that Commissioner Sherman's suggestion to Commissioner Grunewald to give a sample of these things answers Commissioner Gore's question about specificity. I think that I am willing to support the letter with an ask for a draft of the application before it's submitted. I think we've agreed on the November 15th letter. I think Chair Finizzi has done a good job of suggesting places where we put in these caveats. But I mean, I supported this going on the agenda because we were going to get a letter out and like stake our claim to this as an issue. Let's do it and not bear down any more on it than we've already done. I think we've done a thorough job of sort of editing the letter in committee. So my suggestion is we vote on it.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. I do see Commissioner Nagy had her hand up. And then I just want to make sure we're all good because I'll have to read the motion with some amendments, I think.
Okay.
Commissioner Nagy.
Thank you. I just wanted to highlight, agree, say that if we don't get, I really want to see the application before it's submitted. I would really want to see that in the letter. And without that in the letter, I don't think I would support the letter. So that's it.
Thank you. And I see Commissioner Simmons' hand. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to, since we're discussing this, for the community's awareness, I let the commission know that I would be unable to attend today's meeting due to some issues that have arisen personally. But I did log on and I saw that this information related to Ingleside was sent to the commission at 6 p.m. today, and our meeting began at 7. So I have been unable to prepare myself for this letter that's going out. So I'm unfortunately unable to support any part of this letter due to the lack of planning by the commission. So I just want to make sure that the community understands my reason in not participating in this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Commissioner Sherman?
No, I hadn't lowered my hand earlier.
Okay, I'm going to try to make a motion that I think encapsulate, oh, sorry, Commissioner Gore?
I think you were going to say what I was going to say. If when you read the motion, just to make sure that we include everything that we discussed is going to be included. I am just a little nervous because we are definitely drafting this letter in committee. And I would have preferred to have had this discussion because I think we could have came up with, a stand down, knockout letter if we had worked on it together in advance of the meeting. But I'm willing to support it if all the caveats are in the motion and that we see the commission has sent a draft of the letter prior to it going out. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to try to read the motion as to incorporate the comments that were made. Commissioner Grunewald, are you able to make a note so that we can make sure I get this as we go?
Well, I don't take shorthand, so I'm not going to be able to write all these words down.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not a secretary, but I am recording everything, so I will make sure to get all of these details.
Okay. So, and if I don't get it right, please feel free to correct me and I will try again. So I'm going to make a motion that we send the letter as drafted by Commissioner Grunewald with changes to include a revision, a date of November 15th at the beginning of the letter where it says postponing until, and then also at the end of the letter, revised schedule for filing date after November 15th. That also includes text that says we want to see application in draft before it is submitted. And that also appends a sample, not 13 pages, but a sample of perhaps the most salient questions, and that this letter be circulated among all commissioners prior to being sent out to make sure that the suggested changes were made. Did that motion read as we understood? Commissioner Gore?
I think what was left out was the call, pretty much the call to action on the discussion with Ingleside and partners to produce an engagement session. So to encourage them to work with the commission on the engagement process.
Okay, good. I think there was a section towards the end where you talk about working together, Commissioner Grunewald.
Right.
So we encourage Ingleside to work with the ANC to develop a community engagement process. Right now, they basically have one presentation meeting before the ANC in the fall, and that is not going to be sufficient.
Right.
But does that language sound correct? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Encourage Ingleside to work with ANC to develop a community engagement process. Do I have a second to this motion? I have a second. Okay, I'm going to go roll call. All those in favor say aye. I'll go roll call. 01?
Yes.
Thank you. 02?
Yes.
03?
Yes.
04? Yes. 05?
Abstain.
Thank you. 06?
Yes.
Thank you. 07? Commissioner Nagy?
Yes. Sorry, I was muted.
No, that's okay. So by a vote of 6-0-1, the letter to Ingleside passes with the changes that I read and the caveat that it be circulated to the commissioners first to make sure that the suggestions were incorporated correctly. Thank you all for your time on that. This is the timing of the recess, I think, made it something that wasn't really going to be possible to, just worked and kick back to the next meeting. Okay, so the next item that was added to the agenda was 55 questions that DEMPED had responded to. And we got those responses earlier this month, but many of the responses did not have answers yet. And so a concern was, what do we do with this information? So Commissioner Grunewald had, I believe, or Commissioner Goslin had proposed writing perhaps a letter saying that we would like more specific answers than the TBD. And before you were here, Commissioner Simmons, Commissioner Gore, and also Commissioner Goslin, that expressed concern that on working on this without your being here. So I'm glad you're here for this part of the meeting. So that's sort of where we were.
Chair Fennessy, could you, since I missed the initial and I let the commissioner know that I couldn't attend today, but could you please elaborate on what was specifically asked to be put on the agenda, since I can't watch the video back in real time?
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to actually get Commissioner Nagy to recap that, because I had technical issues getting on myself and she was chairing at that part of the meeting. Commissioner Nagy, could you be so kind as to recap the item as it was added to the agenda?
I will do my best. We agreed to discuss a letter to DEMPED expressing our disappointment at the lack of forthcoming answers to the 55 questions or thereabouts that we had posed to DEMPED. I think that's pretty much it. If anyone else sees it differently, speak up, please.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Nagy.
Chair Fennessy, so we're just gonna, the suggestion was just to send a letter to DEMPED to say that we were disappointed in their response to our 55 questions.
The sense was that the answers, there were many answers that were to be determined or not answered with specificity. Commissioner Grunewald?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that when I introduced this item onto the agenda this evening, I hadn't mentioned a letter. I just had an open-ended question as to how we should proceed how we should proceed with DEMPED at this moment, considering that the answers were so inadequate. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So that you did not necessarily have a letter in mind, but you did not feel the answers were thorough. All right. Commissioner Goslin?
Yeah, let me suggest, I mean, perhaps I was the one who suggested the letter. What it accomplishes is that we have something to focus on and do something about. I think besides expressing disappointment, we ought to say we believe that in order to have a useful community engagement, we need more substantive answers, and we ask DEMPED to provide them. Let me just say, beyond that, I'm going to have problems supporting it. And I suggest the letter because it narrows the focus of this. We either vote on a letter or we don't vote on a letter, but we don't relitigate so many of the issues that have come up. So we are hours, maybe minutes away from a summer recess, and I hope we could get there expeditiously by agreeing to a simple letter that says that the answers we've received are inadequate, and we hope for a more substantive response to the specific questions, and we believe it's necessary for useful community engagement.
Thank you, Commissioner Goslin, and thank you for that clarification. Commissioner Nagy?
You're mute.
Sorry. Thank you, Commissioner Goslin. Commissioner Nagy?
Yep, thank you. Actually, I think Commissioner Sherman was before me,
Okay,
and possibly
sorry.
also
Yeah,
Simmons.
If the order is out of order, please do correct me. Thank you. Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, I support a letter. The same situation that we face with Ingleside, we face here. Matters are moving forward. We're going to be away for a while. So I think it's important for us not to wait until the fall. So I support doing the letter. I also support working with what we are learning and evolving our response accordingly, not to rehash, but to take stock of where we are and what we still need to know. Our letter can't go into infinite detail. That's why I previously referenced, when we were considering amending the agenda, our standing policy. and resolutions of the commission are standing policy, supported by a majority of the commission. So our June 8th resolution, which went into lots of detail in terms of what we need to know that we do not yet know, stands. Now, it isn't the point of this letter to pick up every single one of those, but I believe the letter should reference that the commission is on the record asking for more specific detail, and actually it makes for an economical letter now to reference the resolution and say that we would encourage DEMPED to take a look at that. And one thing I would say specifically in this regard, we did learn in the 55, in the response to the 55 questions, that DPR now in Rift Valley are proposing a full-size gymnasium that we had not learned before. And when you understand, as we do, that the proposed space allocation for the new community center would be about a third less of the existing community center, full-size gymnasium, depending upon how it's configured with seating and side space and so forth and so on, could be as much as 2/3 the space of the usable space of the proposed new community center. So these things, we don't have to go into detail here. I'm just giving you a specific example. We're learning as we go little bits of information that then heighten the importance of understanding where matters stand and where our community, where we as a commission, but more important, our community has an opportunity for meaningful input. The July 9th engagement by DEMPED, rather DPR and DCPL, that was to June 9th, yeah, the kickoff event, that was to solicit community input. I believe needed to be framed around where is there meaningful opportunity for the community to have input, and as matters unfold, we get a better sense of that. So this is why I think this is very important to get greater clarity, and so I'm articulating why I think this needs to happen.
Okay. Thank you so much. Who has not spoken yet on this one? I see Simmons, Austin.
Yes, I think Simmons was next. I think all of us has discussed this. So I just, again, I would like to just let the community understand awareness. I let the commission know that I would be unable to attend today's meeting. Chevy Chase Day vote was supposed to happen. The chair inferred that because I was not able to attend and because Chevy Chase Day is happening in my single member district, that I was suggesting we cancel the vote, which I wasn't. And I'm just a little disappointed in my colleagues.
Point of order. Point of order.
I'm disappointed in.
Point of order.
I bet y'all ain't had no point of order since I wasn't here. So I'm just a little disappointed.
Commissioner Finney,
I'm disappointed that we have the discussion.
Point of order. My goodness.
Chair, you're muted.
She's having maybe connectivity issues as well.
So as I was discussing related to this letter,
I'm not giving up my point of order. Commissioner Finney, I'm not giving up my point of order.
Okay.
Point of order is
I'm moving on to the letter. So as I was saying,
thank you, Commissioner.
Please do not address me. Point of order. I'm just a little disappointed that as the Senate Commissioner related to this project, no one had reached out to me. I also want to let the community know that the specs for the Civic Core site mention having a gym and a fitness center. Also, the community is not losing space. We are not losing space. So I just want to correct that. We've discussed that. And then finally, DEMPED came to our, I think it was June 4th meeting, ready to discuss these 55 questions. However, the ANC did not give them the opportunity to do that. That whole meeting was designed to discuss those 55 questions, yet it was an opportunity in which the commission did not give DEMPED the opportunity to do that. I don't know the simplest terms to say, but it was more of an attack, but not really. I don't think that's the right word, but I can't think of the correct word to say. But DEMPED came ready to discuss those 55 questions, and we did not allow them to do that. I don't know who needs to be muted. It's a lot of background. Um, so I think it's unfair. And then lastly, some of those questions where they say to TBD, it's related to they cannot give us an answer until they have the design. So example, we asked them about a traffic study. They can't do a traffic study if they don't have a building, fully designed. So I think some questions they cannot answer at this time. Where's the trash pickup going to be? I know they said TBD. We don't have a design building yet for them to provide us an answer. So I think we need to, just remember some of the things that have happened. So
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Yeah, can you hear me now? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, when the point of order was trying to be called, I was glitching in and out and I actually got disconnected from the meeting. I am sorry about that. I was trying to respond to Commissioner Nagy, but you could not hear me. Commissioner Nagy?
Thank you. All right. I first need to start my timer here. Sorry. I completely and totally reject the notion that DEMPED came to the June 4th meeting prepared to discuss the 55 questions. We asked them to discuss them and they chose not to. They brought a moderator to run an ANC meeting, which to me was absolutely astonishing and a terrific show of bad faith on their part. It is absolutely clear that they were not ready to discuss it. We've asked them for those questions from June 4th until they finally provided the very unspecific answers that they finally gave us a month later on July 6th. And I personally wrote to Nina Albert and asked for them. After the meeting, I asked for them again before July 6th and on behalf of myself, and we never received them. So to attribute all this great faith to DEMPED, I think is absolutely unwarranted given the facts in front of us.
Thank you, Commissioner Nagy. Commissioner Grunewald?
Yes, I'd like to say a couple of things here, please. So we do have the answers that DEMPED wanted to give us. We've had them since for a few weeks now. And I just want to point out that while most of the answers most of the questions were not answered adequately, I did want to say that DEMPED did confirm something that I've always said, which is that the size and appearance of this project will change or is likely to change from what it appears to be now. DEMPED acknowledged that the zoning at the site allows for 80-foot tall buildings. Quote, as the project advances and plans are refined, the height of the building will become more precise, unquote. That's what DEMPED wrote in its answer. But the questions that I would really like to have answered in a new letter to DEMPED are the following. To DEMPED, you've had the results of 3 surveys conducted between 2023 and 2025, containing approximately 7,000 responses for what residents want on the publicly owned civic core. So these are the 4 questions I'd like answered. What specific ANC recommendations were incorporated into the proposal? Which ANC recommendations were rejected and why? How did DEMPED apply the legally required, quote, great weight standard to community and ANC input? And 4th, why has the district accommodated community concerns at other library projects by eliminating housing, but not at the Chevy Chase Civic Core? Those are the 4 questions I would like to have answered.
Thank you, Commissioner Grunewald. Commissioner Gosselin-Gore, do you see who was next?
Gosselin was.
Gosselin was, thank you. Commissioner Gosselin?
Let me say I'm prepared to vote on a letter tonight that expresses our disappointment with the many TBD answers. And I'm in the effort to find consensus, includes reference to the June, I think, 8th vote by this commission concerning the project, as long as it also includes the vote count. Beyond that, I'm not prepared to go. And as this discussion shows, we can go down many, many paths on this project. If you want a letter and you want to get it out and you want my vote, I suggest we agree to a simple text. We include not only our disappointment, but also that we need substantive answers to the 55 questions and more extensive answers to the ones that they did give us something other than TBD. But let's vote on the letter and get it behind us. Otherwise, I don't see, I'm going to vote no on the letter. So for what
Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. Commissioner Gore.
Yes, I don't think we, at the beginning, when we set this as an agenda item, set a time limit. So I'm suggesting that the commission only hear from commissioners twice with the maximum time limit of 3 minutes for each round. And then we have a motion. I agree with Commissioner Gosselin. We can go all around the table, all around the world on this discussion. This was a discussion that was proposed at the top of the agenda. There was not even an email sent to the commission in advance to say that this was going to be an agenda item. We're not prepared to draft a letter here again in committee right before recess. It's just totally unfair to the commission. It's unfair to each commissioner. It's unfair to the community. But again, I'm not prepared to vote yes on this. I have no idea what this letter is going to say, even if the language is nominal. And I just don't see how we continue to do this as a commission. It's totally untransparent and totally unfair to this community. So I'm a no vote.
Thank you, Commissioner Gore. Commissioner Nagy?
Yeah, hang on one sec. Sorry. I just wanted to point out another matter about what DEMPED could and could not have responded in the 55 questions, which theoretically they had the answers to on June 4th and yet did not give us for an entire month. And that is, they do know what the building is approximately going to look like. They know where garbage is going to be collected. They know where entrances are going to be based on Rift Valley's design. I think it's quite clear. I mean, they've presented us with something that can change, but based on what has been presented to the community thus far, many of the questions that they did not answer because they were TBD actually can be answered now.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Nagy. One thing that I would say is that anytime we have accurate information and thorough information, it does tend to calm people down, and it does tend to make people have trust in organizations and trust in the process. And I think that's really important. So I would be willing to write a letter expressing disappointment in that the answers weren't as thorough as we would have liked, but that we do want to engage productively, and that the best way to engage productively is with good information, thorough information, public information, and that we can help our community and we can help DEMPED move together forward by having this information and getting those substantive answers. So that is the gist of a letter that I would be prepared to send and write, and I would be happy to do that. Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, I think the other thing for us to be mindful of is that DEMPED is most likely preparing the surplus and disposition draft legislation to forward to the council. The council is in recess until September 15th, but in all likelihood, when they resume session and we come back and hold our first meeting on September 14th, those draft bills will perhaps be before the council. So there's that's taking place that we need to be mindful of as we seek greater clarity. Councilmember Fruman has indicated that legislation might not come until the fall, but that hearings or a hearing would be likely in the fall. So the timing of this letter, I think, is important. And I agree with Commissioner Gosselin. We can keep it relatively straightforward. And what you just mentioned, Chair Fennessy, by way of referencing the prior work of this commission, we're also allowing DEMPED to know that we do continue to expect a response to what we have previously asked them for. And those, again, details in the June 8th resolution are quite specific as to space allocations and all sorts of other things. So I can support the letter if drafted in that way.
Okay, and thank you. And all right, if we can have maybe perhaps one last comment, Commissioner Nagy, then I think I can make a motion for that.
Thank you. I just want to make sure that the point about the commission having taken a position through its June 8th resolution will be in the letter.
I think that's important because I think that the questions and that we raised on June 8th and the 55 questions, if we had answers to both of those, I think the community would feel very well informed, and I think that would build trust in the process. So getting information for that and answers to that would be very helpful. Commissioner Gosselin? Commissioner Gosselin?
Yes. I just asked that the vote on the June 8th resolution be included in the letter. Thank you.
I would be willing to do that. That's a matter of public record, and it's fine with me to include that. So I would like to make a motion that that I send a letter to DEMPED reiterating our request to get information that we asked for in our June 8th resolution and in our 55 questions, expressing disappointment that we haven't received them, but looking forward to useful community engagement once we have these more substantive and thorough answers, something to that, basically in that text.
A second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, I'll go by roll call vote. 01?
No.
02?
Yes.
03?
Yes, but I don't think it's going to do any good.
Okay, 4 votes yes. 5?
No.
6?
Yes.
And 7?
Yes.
Okay. And with no abstentions, that's a vote of 5-0. That passes. We will send a letter to DEMPED reiterating our request for that information and expressing disappointment that we're still waiting on some information and looking forward to more substantive answers and productive community engagement for that. Okay, so now we move on to Treasurer's Report, I believe.
Yep.
Commissioner Sherman?
Yep. So I sent out to everyone today the QFR for the third quarter of fiscal year 26. That covers the period of April, May, and June of this year. If you'll allow me to share the screen, I can pull it up.
You should be able to do that.
Okay. That's the other document. Hang on. Okay. Can you see the QFR on the screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. And again, for the few members of the public who are on the call, we have a requirement to report on our finances on a quarterly basis. The quarterly reports roll up the monthly reports that the treasurer gives to the commission on expenditures and any deposits or credits to our ANC account. So again, we're covering here April, May, and June. And it's relatively straightforward. Let me just walk everybody through this. The major expenditure, if you look down here, as you can see my cursor of grants, was the grant to Goods for Good of $2,000. Their activity took place in May, and it was a very solid event, which we've talked about previously. There were a couple of other charges that I've explained previously that happened. One in error for $15.99 that was credited. And then another, and the deposit here under receipts. You'll recall that I mentioned that when we issued payment to Go Vocal for the annual subscription, they had asked that it be wire transferred. And so I executed a wire transfer, unaware as a new treasurer that that is not authorized by our ANC rules. And so, or OANC guidelines or district guidelines. And so I made a deposit of $95 in the bank. So the credit of $15.99 and the $95 deposit and a minor adjustment of 20 cents or so by the OANC yielded credits of 111.01. And the other charge that is worth noting, again, we've covered this before, but just by way of review, when we asked GoDaddy to take a look at recovering our ANC website account, you'll recall that there were we had technical support from GoDaddy. GoDaddy, when they initiated the technical support, in error entered a subscription that would recur every month. I stopped that, obviously, because it was supposed to be a one-time circumstance, but there was a further charge reflected here, which they still need to refund, but we have to show it. So in any event, relatively straightforward account here of expenditures and receipts. Our closing balance of $57,173.41. So this is the QFR. I would add, as I indicated in my email to everyone, that the OANC had cleared the disbursement of our allotments both for Q3 and for Q4 of this fiscal year. The fiscal year ends on September 30th. Those were for 4,388.70, something to that sort. So our current bank account balance is 66,000 and change, which I put in the email to you earlier today. So that's the QFR. We are asked to submit this within 45 days of the end of a given quarter. We are in recess next month, so I'm presenting it now for, again, your approval. And if we vote, we can send it forward to the OANC. Any questions, comments?
Thank you for doing that. I'm fine with it. If anybody has any questions, if not, we could go for a vote and approve and get it sent.
So then I move that we approve the QFR as submitted and forward it to the OANC.
Second.
Thank you. I'll do a roll call. Vote in favor. 01. Commissioner Gore? 02?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Gore. Commissioner Grunewald?
Yes.
02? I'm sorry, Commissioner Sherman, 02?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Grunewald, 03?
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Commissioner Simmons?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Goslin?
Says yes.
06?
Yes.
He put his hand up. He said yes.
Thank you. Okay, and Commissioner Nagy?
Yes.
Okay, so by a vote of 7-0, no abstentions, we have all approved the QFR, and it can go out. And I'll look for that. Hopefully my tech will work better this week and I can sign it for you in box, Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, just again, something I've mentioned to the commission before, and of course, members of the community who are on our calls. We run an extraordinarily high balance in our accounts. And so I think that going forward, we as a commission need to be thinking about deploying our resources in a way that would be beneficial, of course, for the commission. It isn't the intent of the District of Columbia to fund ANCs and not have the ANCs use the resources for purposes that are beneficial. Money does carry over. Community members need to understand this. We receive an allotment around $20,000. It's $19,000 and change on an annual basis. So you can see that we're running 3 years or so here of allotments. And I think we want to take a look at this going forward. Maybe not right now, or maybe not until the next term. I'm not quite sure when we'd want to do it, but I'm just noting that we do have a lot of resources.
Thank you. Commissioner Simmons?
Yes, I was just also going to note that we do have a lot of resources, but we got to be cognizant of we may not have the same allotments that we've gotten over the past 2 years. So our allotments for this current year remain steady with last year. So there could be, depending on budget and funding, there could be situations in which our allotments will significantly decline. So that's just something to be aware of so that we don't, expend all of our resources. But if the community has grants that they would like the ANC to support, please send them our way. That was it. Thanks.
Thank you. And I do have a request for reimbursement that I would like to get to if there's, after we have other questions. Commissioner Grunewald?
Yes, hi. I would just like to say I hope we would use our allotment to finally hire an administrative assistant.
That'd be great. I think that was a great idea. Commissioner Sherman?
Just to note, we have been informed that our allotment for the next fiscal year will be the same amount that we had for this year, which again is $19,400 or something of that sort. So just to note that.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to go to the request for reimbursement. I sent this out, I think, on Friday before I left for North Carolina. I've been working with DGS and DCPS on the Lafayette field. And one of the issues that we have had is that the current administration did not want to really do the field in a comprehensive way after doing the work on the track and the trenching and putting in the ramp. So while there was sod put down, there wasn't really good decompaction of the soil. And in the case of the southern part of the field, there wasn't a lot of watering after it was put in, and it was a fall grass. So it's needed a lot of TLC this summer, which, I feel honor bound to do. And we took care of a lot of watering, but in working with it, the soil is quite compacted. And there is a organic natural treatment that uses a combination of gypsum and molasses. The gypsum loosens the soil. The molasses actually activates microbes in the soil that eats rhizomes that make things like nutsedge, which is kind of it looks like a grass, but it's actually a sedge kind of plant. And so I had put in a request for reimbursement. I have not bought them yet for the pounds of this treatment to cover the 45,000 square feet. I talked with OANC before to see if it would be a reimbursable request. They said yes, and also talked with the small caps guy at DCPS. We met at the field on Friday and looked at it, and he was all for a go, as was the person in charge of maintenance for DGS. So I would just like to ask, it would be close to $300. The email that I sent around earlier, I think it's like $296. So I just wanted to ask for authorization for that before and labor would be done voluntarily, so we would not incur any overhead. Commissioner Sherman.
Yeah, first, I support this.
Commissioner Gore was first. Point of order.
Sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry. Point well taken. Commissioner Gore.
Yes. So I just, first of all, Commissioner Fennessy, I'm tired.
It's okay. It's late. No worries. No worries.
I definitely want to commend you for taking this on. That's a big, project to do by yourself. And I know this is, since we had our meeting back with the mayor, this has been, and prior to that, this has been something that you've taken on and that have a passion to make sure this gets done and it gets done right. So I definitely want to commend you on that. I've read the Office of ANC email, so I'm very clear on their guidance and their ruling that this is I almost said an offense. I'm tired. That this isn't an expense that we can reimburse. What I do want to be a little bit more clear on, and I sent an email on this to try to get clarity, it's just the conversation with DCPS and DGS. And to make sure, I just want to be very clear that not only are they okay, that they understand what we're doing. And I'm curious as to, there was something in your communication where I wasn't very clear about if they were trying to do this same process with the new budget year, if it's included in the budget year. Is this something that they're planning to do? Would this be something that would be a reoccurring expense to the ANC? I'm just trying to, figure out what the long-term strategic plan is here.
Sure, happy to talk about that. So right now they're finishing up the budget year, right? And so they were able to get some mowing sessions done between now and the end of budget year. They've had it mowed twice in July. I mowed the field twice myself earlier this summer, but then they were able to get it done twice in July. They're going to get it done 3 times in August and twice in September. When the new budget year comes around, they'll talk about what they can do. There's like a season in the fall for aeration and reseeding and so forth, but that's going to come under the new budget. So they don't have money and can't really talk about it until they find out what's going on in the fall. But this particular treatment is one that can be done for highly compacted fields. It can be done now, and then it can be done again in the fall. If it is something that they are able and willing to take on, then that would be their expense, and we could not get reimbursed for it at that point. But because they can't do it now, we can. And it would be good for the grass for it to be done now and in the fall.
Okay. And can I
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and can I just add for the record that the ANC consider at the next cycle budget testimony. I think this is, one of the things that we have to advocate for the community when, the proper time comes. And that's obviously agency oversight and also budget.
Yeah. I would absolutely. I mean, if you look back into sorry, it's a little loud here where I am, but if you look back to when, for example, Derek Schultz was in charge of DPR, there was actually an article in a Greater Washington magazine comparing DC fields. They were done better than other jurisdictions' grass fields, and he had quite an amazing maintenance schedule. But that's DC hadn't been there in a while, and I think it would be great to put that back together. Commissioner Simmons and Sherman, I see both your hands. Do you know who was first?
Commissioner Simmons can go first.
Sherman was first.
So I want to second Commissioner Gore's commendation, Chair Fennessy, of your efforts here, longstanding and current. It's amazing the amount of work you've put into this. The field looks great. Obviously, what you're proposing to do in terms of amendments and nurturing the field is critical to do, and I totally support it. And I just want to say that you've done an amazing amount of work, so I thank you for that. Chair Fennessy and I have had a conversation about organic practices, and this was something that was featured in one of the 3 town halls that I did several years ago, looking at artificial turf versus natural grass. And we had national experts come forward and talk about how to cultivate natural grass playing fields using organic methods. And so this is something that is done across the country, something that I think we can do with the efforts that we're putting forward and led by our chair and supported by this relatively small amount of money that we'd be spending on this to create a bit of a model project and how we can bring the community around a field and keep it healthy. And playable and usable for the purposes at hand. I've also volunteered to reach out to the former Chevy Chase resident, born in Chevy Chase, who is the founder of the Field Fund on Martha's Vineyard, who was in the town hall on natural grass playing fields a couple of years ago. So I will follow through on that, who could be helpful to us in terms of advice and guidance on a pro bono basis as we look at making sure this field stays in the condition that we want it to be in. So I'm in favor of the expenditure.
Thank you. And I think that sounds really promising. Commissioner Simmons.
Yes, Chair Fantasy. I was just going to make the suggestion that when you make your motion, if you can ask for your reimbursement to be up to $500 in the event once you start your working and you may need additional bags or whatever, you have the flexibility to continue your work and not worry about the reimbursement.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Commissioner Grunewald.
Yes, Chair Fennessy, could you just say a few words to our community as to why our ANC chair has to be mowing the lawn and feeding the grass at Lafayette, and why can't the city be doing this, please? I just would need you to explain that to my constituents, please. Thank you.
Okay. So, well, the good news is on the mowing, right? It was a short-term gap, right? But I'm of the belief that we are the city, right? And so sometimes to get the city bureaucracy to do what it needs to do, the people of the city step up first, and that also, gets the city bureaucracy wheels turning a little faster. So they did work on getting the mowing contract in place, and it got in place by mid-July. But yes, there was some time before then that I ended up mowing it twice. But my grandparents had a farm, and I don't mind putting on gardening gloves and getting my hands dirty. So it was all good. I think as far as the maintenance of the field, again, there has been a push across the city to have artificial turf fields. And I think a lot of our kind of grass maintenance protocols they've gotten dusty. They need to get dusted off. But there is a renewed interest, I think, in the green practices, especially as we get hotter and hotter summers. So the other thing, though, that I did need to do, because the city did not fix the irrigation system. So especially when we had that real heat system over July 1st through 8th, I had to drag hoses and water, because the type of grass that they put in, which was 60 cents a foot as opposed to zoysia, which was $120 a square foot, it just needed a lot more watering. You have to water it twice a day if you put it in the spring, which is what they put in the spring. So, I think, as we saw perhaps with Commissioner Sherman's bioretention areas, when he led groups there, the city, the DOE joined in and started doing more work. I think anytime people see citizen activism, then it becomes a virtuous cycle, and the bureaucracy engages more, and that seems to be what has happened. But it was a slow start because it just hadn't been in place for a while. So that's the best answer I got for you. But I've been really, really happy with the folks in DGS and DCPS that have been working on this current field. And I think we just got to, get the soil better. Anytime it gets new compost, soil conditioner, anytime you can de-weed it, anytime you get good watering cycle, it's going to build it stronger and better. So I would like to make a motion that I love Commissioner Simmons' suggestion, that I be able to get reimbursement for expenses for natural treatments for the field. Currently estimated to be just under $300, but perhaps authorizing up to $500 in case we need further treatments until such time as the city is able to do some natural treatments.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. And I'll call for the vote. O1,
Yes.
thank you. O2,
Yes.
O3, Commissioner Grunewald,
Yes.
thank you. O4, yes. O5,
Yes.
thank you. O6,
Yes.
O7,
Yes.
yes. Okay, so by a vote of 700, that reimbursement is approved. Now we can go to commissioner announcements, and we'll just go in number order. Commissioner Gore.
Yep. Give me 1 second. So first announcement, just to recap my announcement from the last meeting, Pinehurst Circle and Utah Avenue Sidewalk Gap Project team has been working with our neighbors on design specifics like planning and driveways. We expect the official plan to be mailed to property owners in early August, so please look out for that with a kickoff 30-day review and comment period thereafter. Please note that construction scheduling will require coordination with DC's lead abatement effort to avoid redundant work. And if you have any questions, please contact Karen McAllister at DDOT Sidewalks Gap Program. And that's Karen, Karyn .McAllister, McAlister at dc.gov. And her number is 202-285-7791. In that discussion, 32nd Street came up, and neighbors have met with myself and some members of DDOT to discuss the high traffic artery that currently lacks safe pedestrian infrastructure, also presents daily hazards for our kids walking back and forth to Lafayette Elementary School. I'm asking for neighbors to send me feedback on a proposed sidewalk project for 32nd Street by the end of July, and you can email me directly at 3go1@anc.dc.gov. And just a quick shout out to the team at DC Water and Kirsten Williams, who have been dealing with us on Western Avenue and Greenville to wrap up the whole Western Avenue restoration project. There was a very unsightly and unsanitary porta potty that had been sitting around on Greenville for weeks. And I contacted them to get it removed because our neighbor was having a party on that Saturday, and they got it removed Saturday morning. So thank you, Kirsten, and your team. That's all for 3G01. Thank you.
All right, thank you. O2, Commissioner Sherman.
No report, thanks.
Thank you. O3, Commissioner Grunewald.
Yeah, just briefly, I contacted MPD Commander Dorsey and got a response from him. He is going to be, they have already started increasing patrols in the small neighborhood, a kind of tucked away neighborhood of 27th, 28th, 29th Street, the 5300 blocks, and including small portions of Jennifer Street and Military that are encompassed in that small neighborhood. Because since our last meeting, we had a family on 28th Street who's had their tires stall off their car while the car was parked on the street in front of their house. And then the next day, they discovered in a walkthrough of the neighborhood, they discovered more abandoned wheels and or tires elsewhere in the immediate neighborhood. And, you know, because we're a small tucked away, out of the way, small neighborhood, it occurred to me that maybe we're being used as a chop shop. We're kind of tucked away, but we're close to Military Road, so that's a good escape route. So 2 wheels and tires were found in the Rock Creek Park field along Military, directly across from St. John's High School, and another was found in the grassy area of Little Forest along 28th Street at its intersection with Military Road. And I do understand that the theft of wheels and tires is a common occurrence in DC, but it appears to be new in our immediate neighborhood. So anyway, because that people are leaving for vacation and homes are now quiescent, some of them are empty. Commander Dorsey said that he has increased patrols of this particular neighborhood. So that's all I wanted to comment on. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry that this is occurring, but appreciate your diligence and appreciate MPD's support. For my particular SMD, we are still working on getting the slide, the big slide at the playground fixed, and had some conversation with DGS and DPR because it's not just unfun, it's actually detrimental to kids' development not to have their working play equipment. There's lots that's engaged when children play, especially on the big equipment. So depending back from the club, need to go with that.
Laura, FYI, you're really breaking up, Laura. Just FYI.
Okay, I will stop. Sorry. Commissioner Simmons.
You're better now.
Yes. So I'll elaborate on my updates in my newsletter when I get it out. But just FYI, on August 5th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Chevy Chase Community Library, the nonprofit Archaeology in the Community will be having an event. This event is targeted for kids who are between the ages of 8 and 14. So I'll share that out with the community. And then also one of the constituents in Single Member District 05 and others are planning a Chevy Chase Community Day at the playground. That will be held on August 22nd from 9:30 to 1:30 if members of the community would like to participate. And tagging on with the slides, we don't have a slide at the Chevy Chase Civic Corps site. There's a DGS work order, and the city is working on that. So those are all my updates, and I'm going to drop off now. Have a good night.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Commissioner Gosselin.
Are you with us, Chair Fennessy?
In spirit, if not in technology.
No report.
Okay.
Your video has gone off, but we can still hear you. Yeah.
I know. I really am trying to be here. Commissioner Nagy?
Yeah, thank you. I did want to clarify that the slide at the Chevy Chase Community Center is tied procurement-wise to the slide at Lafayette, and something that I've been working on with DGS and the park guys, and DPR to get that fixed. So I hope it's fixed in time for this event. I'm sort of bound and determined that it will get fixed. I wanted to mention that I was finally able to get a copy of the MOU between the ANC, ironically, and 5333 Calvin K. Fritz. When that building was being proposed, and one of the conditions essentially precedent to that was that residents of 5333 not be able to get residential parking permits, and that's in the MOU. It's come to my attention that the management office, the rental office at 5333, tells prospective tenants that they can get residential parking permits. And so I'm going to be working on that with DDOT, because DDOT is not enforcing that provision in any way, shape, or form, and they need to be doing that. And it has bearing for our community center because residential parking is going to be an issue there, no matter how you look at it. Wherever the entrance to the facility is going to be, the additional parking is going to be an issue. 5301, the building on the corner of Jennifer and Connecticut, there's going to be a meeting with neighbors and Councilmember Freeman later this summer. So that's going to happen because there are lots of issues with that building, and it'd be great for Councilmember Freeman to hear directly from neighbors what the situation is next to their building. That's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you everyone for coming.
thank you, Commissioner Nagy. And thank you again for your assistance at the beginning of the meeting when my tech was keeping me out. I
You're
was trying
welcome,
for
but
20
takes a
minutes.
village. It takes a village. Commissioner
All
Gore
right.
helped out as well. So thank you to her.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Gore. Well, I would like to motion, it is now 9:28. I would like to motion that we adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Gosselin. All right. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you
Have
all
a good
for
summer,
a
guys.
productive meeting. Have a wonderful, relaxing, well-deserved recess break. We will meet officially together in mid-September, but we'll, I'm sure, be in touch by email also for the draft on Ingleside and other matters. So be checking emails and so forth. But thank you so much. And I'll see you in September.
There's a song
Bye-bye.
about that, Laura.
What's that?
There's a song about that.
Oh, okay. All right.
See you in
Thank you. Bye-bye.
September. Take
All
care,
right.
everyone.
Bye-bye.